Hey there, friends. Welcome to a course about Milanote. It's a software that's going to help you organize your life and make everything easier to find and track, hopefully. So I will try to be as quick as possible because no one has time to watch a 1 hour video about an app. But it's going to take about 20 minutes to 30 minutes to figure out everything that you can do with it and how you can use it. So let's jump right in. When you're gonna um, open an account, you will be welcomed by a empty board. And on this empty board, you have a few things that are mentionable. On the left-hand side, there's a tools bar, and on the right-hand upper side, there are the controls for um, synchronizing with your phone and finding stuff in your Milanote, notifications, and the settings. We will firstly talk about the toolset. Milanote is based on notes. You can create as many notes as you want. Um, on a free account, you will have about 100, but when you start paying for it, it's going to be unlimited. You can also do these notes, like create them with a double click. Yep. And you can duplicate them by pressing the Alt key or Option key on a Mac and dragging, click and drag, and you can copy them. The best part when you copy a note is you can sync them. So for example, if I delete this one and I write here Google Docs, I can then duplicate it, and he asks me if I want to keep this in sync. And because I want to exemplify the sync function, I would say yes. Whatever I write on this one, it's going to be copied wherever this duplicated note is inside of the Milanote. So for example, I'll make a list with things that I actually use, Airtable and Zoom. And this can be a grocery list if I want to. Um, it can be just about anything I want, but right now these two are in sync. So I will keep these separate for now because I want to talk about some next functions. As you might have seen, if I select a note, the menu on the left-hand side changes. So when the menu changes, I can change information or how information looks inside of the note. The next thing I want to show you is a link. So for example, if I write the fabsquad.com, which is our website, he will immediately search for that address and bring me information about it. For example, if I do this with milanote.com, it will do the same. And if the website has a preview, you will see a preview. As I've said, I can create notes with double clicks, and the note does not necessarily need to be a link because he will understand what I'm trying to say. So if I'm trying to do Nike.com, he will understand that this is not a simple note, it's a link note. Okay? The next one is a to-do. This one is special because it has these check marks on the left. So again, I can have a grocery list. So I'm gonna buy potatoes, and I can buy tomatoes, and I can buy shoes. And whenever um, I want to check off stuff off the list, he will ask me if I want to delete these tasks once completed. I usually leave them there to remember whatever I've done. But at the same time, he asks me if I want to name this list, and I can name it a shopping list. It can also be a to-do list or anything. Um, you might notice that the lists are not in sync. So you cannot have unfortunately a to-do kind of note and still be in sync. But there's a way around this. So I can always add curly brackets and make it interesting and it will be in sync. But I have to start with a normal note instead of transforming it into a to-do note. I've done this mistake before, um, but now I know how to do it again. Like, do the mistake again. Okay, so now we know we have notes and we have links and we have to-dos. If at some point I want to connect these two, I can draw a line between these 2 points and point them one at the other. And now they are connected visually. If I have a different type of relation between these, I can select the arrow and change the direction however I want, and I can add a label on it. Everything that you've seen so far is in the properties. I can make it dashed, I can make it like a thinner line or a thicker line. I can play with this. If I don't want to draw lines or drag lines every single time and connect them, I can do a different kind of thing. I can select these two, for example, and I have a property here to connect them, and I can select these two and connect them, and then I select these two lines, and I'll see which way the arrow goes. Now we're moving on to columns. I'll skip boards right now because this is the more complex stuff. You have columns, um, and in a column you can arrange several types of information. I can do the normal thing, and I can do the shopping list, and I can add an image um, here. And now I don't have to select them anymore. They will move as a group. And I can also change the name of this and say project number 1. I can do a lot of things with columns. So let's say I want to comment on things. I will take a comment from here and I can write awesome, or I will take care of that. And I can link it to a record. I can link it to this record, for example, with a right click and connect with lines. And then I can assign an arrowhead. If I try to connect this comment to any of these three, it will connect to its larger parent. So for example, if I'm trying to do this, I cannot connect them, but if I'm trying to do this, I can connect them in some way or form or shape or form. So now we can organize stuff. We can have multiple I need to delete this. We can have multiple projects, and some of them are just inspirational, just pictures. Maybe this one is with a shopping list. And I can also add some other type of information inside. So for example, the next one is actually a new one, and it's called a table. It starts by a 3 by 3 kind of spreadsheet, but I can always make it larger. And everything inside here works similar to an Excel. If you worked with Excel files before or Google Sheets, you will probably manage this as well. Everything starts with information in these fields. So for example, if I want to have a sum, I can have a sum of these two and and C2, and he will calculate everything for me, and I can do this until, I don't know, tomorrow morning. Everything you know about Excel works in the table as well. And on the left-hand side, you have a bunch of properties. If you want to add a title, if you want to add captions, If you want to add rows or columns, you can do this. I shall delete this right now or just move it to the side because I don't need it. As you can see, there are multiple tools that are hidden behind these three dots. Some of them are interesting, some of them are not. If you're working on Milanote on an iPad or a tablet, but I think iPads for now, you can do some sketches and I can start drawing something. I can save it, but I also can change the background to a transparent background. I think I can do that on an iPad. Not sure if I can do it here. Also, I can put color swatches. So for example, I know for a fact that our company's main color is FF512F, and it's outrageous orange. I did this by dragging a color swatch. But I can also do this just by having a new note, starting with a hashtag FF512, and he immediately recognizes what I want to do, and he does that. So for example, if I want to create another one, hashtag 202020 should be a gray. It's a darker gray. The next one I want to show you is you can have a document inside. So if you have larger notes, you can have this one that uses markdowns and rich text format, and you can paste all your information here. Maybe you want to write a book or something, or a recipe, and you don't want to clutter your workspace with this new document. I shall take these two and put them here. You might want to do an audio file. So, for example, you can bring in podcasts or you can bring in music from Spotify and SoundCloud in these cards. I will put it here. You can have a map. So, for example, if you're working with Google Maps, you can paste a link from Google Maps, and so now we have a valid address here, and we can remember this. I can also I can move on it, I can do whatever I want. And the next one I want to show you is a video block. And again, it works with stuff on YouTube and Vimeo. Just paste a link and it will replace everything. And the next one I want to show you is a heading. Okay, so I can start typing heading 1, or I can. So this one is actually a note that has a transparent background and it has a heading format. So I can replicate this. Instead of using the quick heading tool, I can drag a note, I can write heading 2, and I can go on the left hand side, text style, large heading, and then I can change the justification or alignment to center, and then I can change the card color to transparent. And right now I'm getting the same thing as I've done. Once you have one of these, you can just duplicate them. It's not such a big problem. And also you can create one fast by double clicking and just writing heading 3, and instead at the beginning of everything I can put a hashtag and a space, and he will automatically make everything larger, and then I can justify it in the menu, like center it in the menu, and I can play with transparency here, or I can just make it orange because I like that. Also, there are two ways of coloring things in your Milanote. One of them is a card color completely, or you can have a top strip. In this case, I will have a top strip. It depends on how you want to arrange things. You can have both in the same card, so it's not such a it's easier to find things. Um, and the last three are images that you can add. You can search for cool stuff. You can actually search for images because all the images are provided by pixels. You can upload your own if you want, or you can upload files. And this is the draw function that I wanted to show you earlier, but kind of forgot about it. So I can draw anywhere. This is what I wanted to do here with this one. So now you're asking, well, you've shown us all these tools, but how do you actually use them? Like properly use them? So for example, right now, everything is just trash that I use to show you how the tools work. And everything is on my homepage, as you can see on the upper left-hand side. Um, but now I need to organize them in a way. So I can organize them in boards. I can have a board that's called trash because everything I've just shown you is trash, and I can put it here. And now I have everything inside, but for example, if I want to hide some stuff but not delete it, I have 0 unsorted here, so I have a hidden shelf here that I can open and drag stuff in the hidden shelf. But the most important thing is, do you remember at the beginning of the tutorial that we had a duplicated note that was in sync? I can take this one um, out of here and have it on my main document and write, this is an example of a synced, no, of how sync works in Milanote. And now if I go to trash, this is how it works. Because you can have a document in one area of your Milanote, and then you can have a synced document here. So for example, if you have a to-do list and you want to share that to-do list with other people, you can just copy a synced version of it to different types of boards, and it will keep everything nice and tidy. Okay, so I have a board that's called trash, but I don't like the color, so I will change it. Bright yellow sounds better for trash, but I need another one. So let's have a board that maybe is your personal board. And maybe you want to have a different one that is a company board. So let's say you're working from home, you have your personal life in one place, and you have your company in the other board, and you don't want these to be mixed because you would like to share your personal board with your significant other, and you would like to share your company board with maybe some friends or company people, your colleagues. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. In your personal board, the minute you enter an empty board, you will see that Milanote suggests you something. It suggests you a template. They have a lot of templates that are really good, and it will give you ideas about whatever you want to do. So for example, I can search here for more templates and then search for travel or let's see, I can go to writing, because in my personal board I want to write a novel, and here I can find a structure for this novel. I can use this template and the images and information disappears, but it keeps the structure, or I can keep the example content because it's going to be easier for me to know whatever I need to um, replace and how it needs to look. So I will use this template, but I'll keep the content. And immediately I understand that, oh, they have 3 columns, and in these columns I have a note, I have 3 other boards, I have a to-do list, 3 boards, a special document that someone uploaded, a rich text format that's working from Milanote, and I have other 4 boards that have specific images on them. So for example, I can change this. Instead of changing the color, I can change the icon and I can upload an image. So this is how the template works. I can change the icon with an image. Okay, so let's just say this is my personal board. I wanted to write a novel, but now I'm thinking about traveling and I want to add a travel board. What do I do? Well, I build a board that's going to be called a novel, and then take everything and put inside the novel, and then I'll do another one that's going to be traveling. Not like this, like this. Traveling. No, let's just say podcast. Maybe I want to do a podcast for myself. Um, Whenever I start, I can do a podcast schedule because he understands what I wanted to do. This is one, but maybe I don't like this one. So I'll do a podcast episode plan and it looks different. Or I can do a podcast script. Whoa, now it's even better. What do they have in this podcast script? Well, I'll keep the example, I'll use the template. The most important part is they have an image. This is simple. They have a heading with a transparent background. They have notes that have different kinds of card colors, and these are just lines with label and pointy ends. Also, they've changed the color. I can make it red if I really want to. So for example, let's just say um, I want to do 2 episodes of this. I selected everything. I'm holding down Alt or Option on Mac. And all I have to do right now is just change the information for the next episode. So for example, Phyllis Storm can be Bruce Willis. And then I change the picture, and then I change the information for the second one. But the screen real estate is not that big, so I never get to see both of them in the same frame. I can just press Z on the keyboard, and it will zoom out for a second. Also, this information is on the right-hand side upper corner, and now it's at 59%. I can play with it. I can get it to 100, or I can zoom in if I really need to. Never done that before, but you can, just so you know. And now I can work in a zoomed out fashion and play with stuff around. And once I get it to my desired level, I can zoom back in with the Z key. Okay, so we've done a personal board and the podcast board. As you can see on the left hand side, upper left corner, now we have breadcrumbs. So it's like Inception. I have my podcast inside my personal file inside my home folder. I can have on my home folder a lot of these, or I can have the most important things. I can have a to-do list for my personal stuff that is synced here. I can have another to-do list for my company stuff that is synced here. So for example, I can start a list. So it's list number 1 or 2, which is company, and I can sync it. I will move this inside the company stuff. I'll leave it here for now. I will start a column that's going to be a company column, and have these here. And whenever someone is working here, I can have like by A for paper, or send computer to the repair shop. Helps if you know how to write well. Or you can have multiple, it's like imagination is your limit. And right now, um, I'm in my home and I can see what changes have been made to the to-do list, which is great because I can have an overview. Um, let's say I have multiple revenue streams, um, and maybe I'm managing not three companies, but different kinds of things that I want to focus on. So, for example, this is the um, web design, and this is photography, and a bunch of other things. And every single one of them has a to do list, and I can have an overview in my home or the root of Milanote. I advise everyone to play with boards and um, see what happens using templates and start to um, understand what the templates are made of. You can start with a I don't know, mood boarding for design, for example. I can keep and use this template. And you can use this to showcase everything to your clients straight from Milanote. You can present this to someone. So, for example, if you have a giant board and you have a bunch of information that's sort of like one is here, and I can bring another one from here. I'll just grab this real quick and I can move it over here. You can present this. No, not share. We don't talk about that right now. You can present this. Presentation goes full screen. I'm not gonna type this, but you can present it and then move it around, and it's easier for everyone to see what you have installed for them. And the last thing, you can share boards. This one, you can invite editors via email or invite editors with a link. Um, I would invite them via email and not with a link. They've had problems in the past. Or you can just share a read-only link. So for example, if you're working on a project and you don't want anyone to be able to edit stuff, you just want to share them um, so they can track the progress, you can just enable read-only link, and you can allow comments. So they will be able to leave comments if you allow them this. Otherwise, just invite your editors via email. So for example, in your personal board, you can invite your significant other. In your company, you can invite colleagues. You can have different projects with different people and invite them specifically with access to some boards. Uh, yeah, that's about it. You can go bananas with this one. Right now, I think our company has like 6 levels of inception for how deep the information goes, because once you structure them, it's going to be easier for you to track everything, and whenever you want to remember something, um, you can just search for it. So for example, I can search for yellow. Now I can search for FF512F. Hopefully he will find the color. If not, do this. But it's usually a better thing to search for Google Docs. So for example, he found 2 matches, or you can search for photography and he will find 1 or 2 matches. But if you have a more complicated Milanote structure, it's going to be much easier to find whatever you want. you have 100 nodes for free, and then you need to upgrade. It's not that expensive. I think this one's probably the cheapest out of everything. And yeah, it's what I we upgraded the next morning because we have so much info um, that needed structure. No, I think I covered everything. If there's something different, I will just add something to this video at the end. I think this is everything. Um, in a good tutorial, I would showcase how we use this to plan Instagram posts or um, plan clients and things like that. But I think everyone can tailor their Milanote to their specific needs, and there's no one cookie cutter, um, one click wonder type of affair. So just try it out. Um, Change the structure as many times as you want, because we've done this. We've changed structures at least 3 or 4 times. I think we change it once a year just to shift things around and remove whatever stuff we don't need anymore, because you can delete this. So even if you deleted something by mistake, you can still find it here in the trash. Okay? And I think there's a long list of whatever things you've deleted in the past. Um, One last thing, you have an app for your phone, and if you want to sync stuff between the apps, you can always find it here in quick notes. It's self-explanatory. You have something on your phone and you save it, and it will save here, and when you get to a computer or an iPad, you can just drag it from here in your board and play with it. I think this is it. And whenever you're collaborating with people, you will see their mouse pointer, and you will know exactly what they're doing. If someone selects one of the nodes or one of the elements, you will not be able to edit them until they click out of it. But this is not such a big problem. I guess this is everything. Thank you for your time. I hope I managed to do it in 30 minutes. I will see when I stop recording. And if you have questions, just pop them, um, and I'll answer as fast as possible. Thank you for your time.